Located in the southwestern corner of New Zealand, the Fiordland and Mount Aspiring National Parks are within a World Heritage Area and make up part of the largest section of wilderness in the country. There are several multi-day hiking or tramping routes that connect these two parks, the most famous of which is the Routeburn Track. Classified as one of New Zealand's 10 Great Walks, the classic trail is normally completed in 2 to 3 days. We decided to add an additional few days onto this trip by connecting the Caples Track, making it an epic 5-day adventure in the New Zealand wilderness. So Miranda's having some issues. She has a sore knee at the moment. She might have torn some tendons or something.
Through thick, damp, mossy forests, under cascading waterfalls to high rocky passes, we traverse through an ever-changing landscape in one of the wettest places on Earth, presenting its own set of challenges. A truly challenging yet rewarding experience to all who attempt to wander through this part of the world. Join us on this epic adventure with Global Travel Stories.
Alrighty, so we're making our way out to the start of the Routeburn Track right now. We're doing a kind of like a semicircular circuit starting today down at the Greenstone track. So we'll be dropping one van up at the Routeburn and then the other down to the Greenstone and starting the walk up the Caples Valley. And we're undertaking a 5-day journey, so eventually we'll end up back here at the Routeburn. We're looking at just under 70 kilometers in our whole entire trip and almost 3,000 meters elevation gain, so it's going to be quite an epic undertaking. Today we've only got about 9 kilometers, but the weather is supposed to get kind of bad in the afternoon, so we're trying to beat that bad weather and hopefully we'll get there in time for some rest and set up the campfire. Are you ready for this?
I am.
All
See,
right.
already I am like this.
That's nice. Are you rock and roll?
Yeah!
Let's do it. We're going to test out and see how this goes as a 4-wheel drive. Let's film this little creek over here. We survived it. I think. So we're at the start of our journey here, down in the Greenstone Valley, near the Greenstone station. This area was very important to the Māori people. They used this valley that we were about to go through as a corridor down to the Fiordland region, which is on the west coast of New Zealand. And they'd use this area in search of punamu, which was the precious greenstone, their valuable gem. So that will be part of the route that we'll be taking today, and it does have a deep embedded Māori history. It says 2 to 3 hours approximately. It's just starting to sprinkle a little bit, so hopefully we don't get too wet.
So about 1.5 years ago, we made our way over this bridge and continued on to the Lake Ray Loop Track. That track also leads to the Greenstone Track and links up to the Mavora Lakes Track, which we hope to do next year. But for today, we are heading a different direction, this way to the Mid Caples Hut.
Woo!
Okay, so now we are leaving the Mid Caples Hut. Miranda, why don't you tell us about your experience at the Mid Caples Hut? How do you feel? Do you like the hut?
I did, actually. It was a nice hut. It was a bit loud, but...
And Francesca, what is your take on that?
Yes, the video was great. Yeah, there's just a family of, I don't know, 10 people with kids.
Yeah.
So screaming the whole time. It was fun. But happy to be quiet.
Yeah, but they're heading back to the parking lot today, so we're heading this way, and apparently it's really quiet down there, so...
How far have we got to go?
1.4
kilometers.
Yep.
7 hours.
7 hours, let's do it. How was that, Chicky? Nice. Water's flowing really hard. What our trail's been like so far, as you can see. Nice and sloshy. Some paradise shell ducks in the background there. So we're still in the Caples Valley, and so far this has been spectacular. It is quite wet and our feet are absolutely soaked from stream crossings, but I would say if anything, the water really adds to the experience. You know, it makes this place really sort of mystical and wondrous, and it's kind of interesting every time you go around a bend and there's these little streams, you know, trickling through. Obviously you got the river sort of pumping in the background there, so it's absolutely amazing. I think we're up to river crossing number 10 now. Okay, so we're about to make our lunch break, find a little bit of shelter. Got our upper Caples Hut just here. So this will be our lunch spot. So we're finally up here at the McKellar saddle. Wow, some spectacular views in the backdrop there. We're almost to the top of the saddle now, and then we've got quite a hike down to the McKellar Hut on Lake McKellar. You guys will do an update when we get down there. In 1863, gold prospector Patrick Caples was the first European to cross the valley, and by the 1880s, run-holders had subdued the land for farming. In recent years, much of the land has been returned to the local iwi Ngāi Tahu, and with their admittance, we can appreciate this spectacular landscape. Stunning. So we've just reached the top of the McKellar saddle, 945 meters above sea level, and we're about to make our way down on this beautiful little boardwalk here around these alpine tarns. What do you think, Chicky? Nice?
It's beautiful. It kind of reminds me of the overland track up here.
A little bit like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So now we make our descent. You can definitely tell the difference on the other side of the saddle. It already was wet, but this is just seeping wet. We're close to the Fiordland here, which is one of the wettest places on earth. So you can see all these trees that are drenched in moss. It's kind of creepy.
So we've officially reached the junction and therefore finished the Caples Track. Tomorrow we will be heading this direction towards the Routeburn track, where we'll continue on to the Routeburn until the end. But for now we are doing a slight detour 1 hour this way on the Greenstone track to stay at McKellar Hut for the night.
We're at McKellar Hut. Alrighty, Chicky, you made it. How do you feel?
Tired. So behind me here is McKellar Hut. This is where we stayed last night, and today we are heading towards Lake McKenzie Hut, stopping at Key Summit along the way. It'll be about 18-kilometer journey, including the side trip to Key Summit, and it'll take probably about 6 to 7 hours.
This morning in Mirkwood, Francesco warns if you go off the path that you'll get lost and likely go mad. Behind me we had the remains of the Lake Howden Hut, and I believe it was 2 summers ago that they had a massive landslide here, and it had decimated pretty much the whole hut, everything here. There were actually people staying inside at the time, and luckily nobody was seriously injured, but obviously it's created a huge dent in this trail, and now they're looking at not replacing it just because it's just not a safe spot for a hut to be placed, which is kind of a shame because it sort of sits in the key area between the Caples Track and the Routeburn Track, which is where we would have stayed last night if we had the opportunity. We're about to actually undertake the Routeburn Track. We're now currently in the Fiordland National Park, which is one of the wettest places on earth, as you can see. The original plan was to go up and do Key Summit, which seems kind of pointless at this stage because we would not see anything from Key Summit. So we will take the Routeburn Track now up to the Lake McKenzie Hut. And the Routeburn Track itself is actually considered one of the great walks of New Zealand. So we'll hopefully, if we can get some clear skies at some stage, get an opportunity to see why it's such a special trail. It's a great walk, so we've got bridges now. So this area here is obviously prone to landslides and avalanches. So put up a warning for no stopping in this area. Oh, it's getting wet. So we've just had a little bit of a chat to one of the rangers that's come through, and he's told us that today the rain is going to be persistent, and then tomorrow it's forecast heavy rain. Potentially even snow down to 600 meters. We're staying tonight at about 900 meters, and tomorrow we're climbing up to the Harris Saddle, which is about 1200 meters. So we could get really, really way down in the snow. So hopefully the snow will be later on rather than earlier. But either way, it looks like we're going to be trekking through some pretty harsh conditions over the next couple of days. Okay, so we're about to go up to Ellen Falls, and Ellen Falls looks like it's 174 meters. It's going to be pumping today. You can already feel the spray. Jesus. Holy. Absolutely drenched. Alright. Navigate through this. Seems like we're coming up to another waterfall. Chicken's going to lead the way on this one. So it looks like the rain has stopped a little bit. Still very wet and damp in this forest. Kind of this mystical, enchanted forest, as you can see. We just keep passing waterfall after waterfall, which is kind of cool. Every like couple of minutes we're just crossing a bridge with a new waterfall, or at least a stream trickling underneath. Okay, it looks like we're finally arrived at the McKenzie Hut. You can see the smoke coming out of the chimney now. Means Francesco started up the fire for us. So we're here at the Lake McKenzie Hut, and we've sort of run into a potential issue depending on the weather tomorrow. We've spoken to a ranger today, and he sort of advised that the conditions tomorrow aren't so favourable. We're either looking at heavy rains or we're looking at potential snow. They said up to 600 metres. We're currently at 900, heading up to 1200 tomorrow. So we do need to make a decision tomorrow. We're gonna have a look and see what the weather looks like in the morning, and then maybe make a break for the hut, and we'll keep together and try to stay as safe as possible. The conditions here in the winter aren't so great, and it's recommended not to do the Routeburn over the winter time. All right, Francesco, tell us about your gourmet meal.
Oh, my gourmet meal, I'm gonna have a nice beef stroganoff, which require to fill up this little bag of water up to the Mount Everest level, which is all the levels here, while Milana is gonna have mushroom bolognese, which is not really Italian, but whatever. And you will get nasi goreng.
Catch you later.
Yeah.
Say hi to YouTube.
Stay safe. Bye, YouTube. Bye, YouTube.
All right, cool. Let's do it. I should probably pop my hoodie on. So you can see in the background there the McKenzie Hut, which we departed this morning. It was kind of a bit of an awkward morning, you know. We woke up at about 6 a.m. and the rain was coming down torrentially, like really heavy. And you know, after our warnings from the ranger the night before, we were getting a little bit concerned about whether or not we should even take off today. These areas are not recommended in bad conditions. A few years ago, there were a Czech couple that tried to make their way over the McKenzie, or from the McKenzie Hut over the pass that we're going to Harris Saddle today, and the snow came down really heavy, and luckily the girl survived, but the guy never made it out alive, unfortunately. And I believe she waited down here at the McKenzie Hut until help came along. So it can be quite treacherous, and it serves as a bit of a warning in these mountains. You know, things can change very quickly. So we don't take our decision lightly, but the weather has seemed to have cleared up. So we're feeling very optimistic about the saddle. Hopefully it stays that way. Kind of reminds me of the death road in Bolivia. These big drops off into the mist here, fog. I'm glad I'm not on a bike right now. Whew. And this just shows how quickly the weather can change up here. All right, Francesco, explain the view below.
Yeah, there's a clear example and classic one of the beauty of Fiordland National Park. As you can see, all the mountains and waterfalls and the lake at the bottom.
Looking down towards the Great Divide.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Beautiful. And now we're going that way.
Oh, nice. Look at those views. Kind of reminds me of Norway, actually. We did a hike called the Preikestolen, and it was a little bit like this.
With the same weather?
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. But it did clear up, so hopefully we get the same. So one of our fears when we started was that during the winter they actually pull down some of the bridges. This is one of the bridges. Luckily they haven't, obviously. Imagine crossing this. Some waterfalls in the background there too. Bridge number 2. That beautiful beech forest below. Heading right up into these mountains up here. The area receives an average of 7 meters rainfall over roughly 200 days per year, making it one of the wettest places in the world. So we're just leaving the Harris Saddle now. We're making our way down to the Routeburn Falls hut. As you can see, the conditions are absolutely stunning. Blue skies, great views, of course. We're estimating about another 2 hours down to the hut. All of our rain gear got drenched, as it's not supposed to do. So now we're in our emergency backup rain gear. Nice. It's like a wardrobe change. Beautiful! Look at this big lake below, guys. It's a big lake down there to the left. Who wants to go swimming? We're already swimming.
That's actually all rainwater.
From today. Yep, be careful with your footing, guys. Tough. At least the wind's calmed down a little bit. We just need to walk through a bunch of waterfalls now. So we're walking through literal waterfalls right now. Oh wow. Should take a quick photo. So Miranda's having some issues. She has a sore knee at the moment. She might have torn some tendons or something. So she's taking it very slowly. And Francesco's taken off down to the hut, the Routeburn Falls hut. So she's gonna take it nice and easy. Hopefully won't take us too long to get down there. Having a lot of pain in the knee. We're stopping for her to get some painkillers. Shouldn't be too far from the Routeburn hut anyway. But, a little bit of shelter here anyway. You all good? How you feeling, Chicky? A-okay. Okay, so we're about to make our final descent down to Routeburn Falls Hut, going next to the famous Routeburn Falls along the Routeburn River, which leads out to the Dart River. So we'll be trailing that tomorrow. You can see it starting to make its way down now. Been a long day, a tough one for poor old Miranda. But it's time for a little bit of rest up and get into some dry clothes. Alright, so we finally made it. Excited, honey?
Oh, yes.
Tough day for Miranda. We're here though. Routeburn Falls Hut.
You made it.
Woo. All right, Francesco, what is the forecast like today? Give us a
You
little.
can see over here. Fine day, 0 minutes of
Says
precipitation the whole day.
Beautiful.
And sunny day,
Snow on
unlike
those peaks.
yesterday.
Nice. All
A
right.
bit of snow.
So we're about to embark on our final journey, our final day of our journey. Yeah, it's only 3 hours down, and we're leaving the Routeburn Falls Hut now. Yeah, we should arrive early afternoon down to the car park. It's a lesson we can all learn. It's actually pretty nice.
The Routeburn Track first gained popularity for adventure enthusiasts in the 1930s, but was first established as a trail in the 1880s. However, its history goes back well before the European settlers and Maori Greenstone hunters. The sheer landscape is carved by the glacial movement of the last ice age between 10 and 20,000 years ago. The mountains themselves are comprised of schists from an ancient seafloor between 220 to 270 million years ago that has risen under the pressure of continental collision. This landscape is so wondrous because it bears the scars of its vast and unique history along the way.
Every time we step foot into these places, we put ourselves at the mercy of the mountains and the elements. But to get up close in their awe is the reward that inspires us to keep coming back.
Alright, we've made it, guys.
At Global Travel Stories, we want to hear what you'd like to see more of. Please leave a comment below and remember to like and subscribe for our big adventures coming soon.